it's Wolf, and this video is about making custom clothing in Club Penguin. This isn't really a tutorial though, this is more of like a how it could be possible type of video, because as I'm going to show, making clothing in Club Penguin is actually really time consuming. So I'm not going to be doing exactly that in this video, but more so just generally kind of talking about how it is done. The reason why I'm saying this, I would actually suggest watching Chris Hendricks' video, How He Made the Club Penguin Avatar. Chris Hendricks is one of the people who originally worked on Club Penguin, and I believe he's the one who actually came up with the penguin design. And in this video, How He Made the Club Penguin Avatar, he talks about how the clothing and stuff worked in the game, and long story short, because Club Penguin is in Flash, every single frame of animation that the penguin has needed to be done for every piece of clothing that was added into the game, so it takes a really long time. And he talks about in this video how the Club Penguin penguin is actually a 3D model, and so they had used this program called Swift 3D, I think was what it was, to actually make the clothing and animate it. But so unless you have Swift 3D and somehow have a copy of the 3D model from Club Penguin, you're going to have to do everything by hand, and it gets really complicated. So let me just show you guys what I mean by this. So if we go into Waddle Forever, and then we have to find the clothing here. So Media, S Legacy, Media, Play, V2, Content, Global, Clothing, and Sprites. And then we can grab pretty much any piece of clothing. Hopefully this will be a good one. 218. I'm not sure what this is. We can open it up in FFdeck, which is a free Flash file editor. It's kind of the next best thing that I found aside from actual Flash, but actual Flash is kind of hard to find because it doesn't really exist anymore. So 218, yeah, this will work. As you can see here, there is a sprite for almost every like direction and every movement that the clothing is going. Right here you can see it kind of rotates through all the different frames. So I don't know if this actually has all the movement for like throwing snowball and stuff, but this just shows what I mean. So here you can see there are 132 shapes for this piece of clothing, which means if you were to make a custom piece of clothing based off of this specific item of clothing, you would actually need to replace all of these shapes. So the reason for that is because, see, you can see here that there is only like a couple of sprites. Like this would look a lot easier to do, but the problem is that every sprite here is based on like different shapes that were created earlier. Long story short, I actually have a video where I kind of talked about this a little bit, how to make Club Penguin, or how to make complex Waddle Forever mods, and I showed how I put a Pib, like a Pib Extra can of soda onto the sign in the coffee shop. And it wasn't especially straightforward because I had to go into the actual coffee shop Swift file, and then I had to find the object for the sign and then edit that. And then, long story short, so pretty much what I'm trying to say here is if you were to want to edit a piece of clothing for Club Penguin, what you would need to do is go in, take all of these shapes and edit them like I edited that sign in the video where I did this for the coffee shop, and you would have to make whatever change you were going to make to the clothing to every single one of these shapes, and then re-import it back into FFdeck. It's been a while since I did it. I remember it not being that hard, but you had to like save it as a GIF. It was kind of a weird thing. So yeah, that's why I'm not going to make like a full tutorial, at least right now, on how to do the custom clothing, just because it would take such a very long time. But hopefully, nevertheless, this video gives an idea of how it actually works. And I also wanted to mention, I had this frame of the video paused here specifically because Chris Hendricks talks about how the ghost sheet was the only item in Club Penguin that was actually hand-drawn, like in Flash, rather than made in that 3D modeling program. And he said that it took them 3 times as long, or I think he actually said he made this himself. It took him 3 times as long to make it as any other Club Penguin clothing item, because when they were using that 3D modeling software, that could do all of the frames that they needed and export them, and then they could just kind of transfer that into Flash. But without that, it just takes a lot longer because you have to manually do every frame, or every shape in this case, of the item that you want to change. So yeah, that's just a little explainer on how to do Club Penguin custom clothing and why it just takes a really, really long time, and it's kind of probably one of the harder things to do. So hopefully that gives you guys an idea of how it works, even though it's not like a proper tutorial. And I'm not trying to discourage anybody from making custom clothing, but I just wanted to make a video to say that it's really hard to do. So I think this is also part of the reason why so many Club Penguin private servers, they would have custom rooms and stuff, but you didn't really tend to see custom clothing all that often. So anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you in other stuff in the future, and bye-bye.